I was just praying that people gave it a chance.
It represents a culture that wants to see themselves as heroes.
She actually embodies all the things that we are.
I can't represent a whole community.
And you are representing not only for Latina women, but for women out there.
Do you feel extra pressure, though, for it to be successful?
No. I'm a brown girl. I have to cross all the lines in order to just be known.
Because she wants to break the stereotype.
Like, how do we break that cycle?
Well, I heard that you had an opportunity to do Devious Maids, and you decided against that opportunity.
Latinos come in many, many shades. To put us in a box is unfair.
Latina women only account for 7% of speaking roles in major films. That's stunning.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, the statistics are sad. You know, that can be discouraging. Why was it only one Latino that won that night? You noticed that. What? How do we change that? Being a part of this project, it showed me that the power lied behind the camera. One change really make a difference?
It's part of the challenge.
You may know her as Jane Villanueva.
As one of Hollywood's rising stars, this Chicago-born Puerto Rican actress is blazing the trail for future generations.
Gina Rodriguez ha dicho que no vio muchos actores que se parecieran a ella en la televisión mientras crecía.
Because I didn't see myself on screen. Because there were so many women that I felt like I could look up to and would make me feel capable, would liberate me from feeling like I was not worthy.
Latina women only account for 7% of speaking roles in major films. That's stunning.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
In 2016, only 5.8% of speaking roles were said by a Latino in film and television. There are 55 million plus. That's crazy.
I grew up in a predominantly Latino neighborhood in Chicago, gang infested. The neighborhood schools are probably the lowest in the city. The belief was, this is it. This is it. To see how reflections are so important and how young these kids become aware of seeing their own reflection. Like, how do we break that cycle?
Rodriguez rechazó varios papeles antes de conseguir el papel que la lanzó al estrellato.
Gina Rodriguez no acepta cualquier papel. Por ejemplo, cuando le ofrecieron uno principal en Devious Maids, serie de comedia dramática sobre empleadas domésticas latinas que trabajan para familias adineradas en Beverly Hills, lo rechazó, pues no se ajustaba a lo que quería que fuera su trayectoria como actriz.
I had a lot of things that I was up against. My skin color, my body type, where I came from.
Rodríguez solo quería interpretar papeles que representasen a los latinos de forma positiva.
What we end up doing with a show like Jane, when we have a Latina as the lead, and we have, there's like 7 Latinos on this cast. And I had never read a script before that was such a breath of fresh air when it came to telling a humanistic story and giving a culture a bit of dap to the culture, like a little tap to the culture, in a very authentic way. The showrunner is just this incredible woman that wanted to write a woman's story and happened to put a brown woman in the space of it. I think that's why it resonated so much. And it was a girl that was strong, and independent, and fierce, and fearless, and what girl doesn't want to play that?
Incredible. Do you feel extra pressure, though, for it to be successful?
Oh, for sure. What happens in this country is we are the Latino community, right? Under that umbrella of Latino community, you have underneath 50 or so countries. I can't represent a whole community. There is no way that I can represent the Latinx community alone. To encompass the Latino experience is very difficult to do. You know, in one show, in one story, that is very difficult to do. And Jane taught me that I could only be a reflection for those that felt they related to me, and there were many that didn't. Actually, Latinos come in many, many shades. That I could not be a face for everyone of my community. But to create change for my community meant I had to move to the other side of the camera.
You're acting, you're directing, and now movies as well, right?
Yes, and producing.
Canon y Will Productions se dedica a crear contenido artístico para las voces subrepresentadas delante y detrás de la cámara.
The space was producing, the space was directing, the space was creating content to put new faces in front of and behind the camera that weren't mine.
I want my kids to look up and see, from the lightest skinned Latino to the darkest skinned Latino, and understanding all the differences amongst that.
As a producer who has been able to produce her own content, that is a space where I've realized you have the power to create change. We all have the longing and the desire to be included, to be represented, to be related to be invited to the same party. We all want to be a part of the bigger conversation. It's important to do that as humans.